Hi everyone, welcome to today's Unique Egos or today's show program kind of like titled Unique Egos Political Forum. And I really want to appreciate you for taking your time to be here today. We appreciate you and we really want to see how today goes. For the contestants, you guys did great, and also for the panel, awesome. Before we move into what we have today, I would like to inform us that our program or our game show or our program in general has a certain eligibility, which means that before you can partake on our show, you should follow us on at least 3 of our social media platforms. So it is very important you know that. So everybody you've seen today, everyone you're going to see on this platform today, following us at least 3 of our social media platforms. And I would also like to inform us with some certain rules for today's contest. It is important for us to understand that this is a political forum and this show is by no way affiliated to any political party or any religious organization. So this is only for educational purpose. So it is very important you understand that this is solely for educational purpose, just for us to learn and also share ideas together. And also, I would like to inform us also that we have contestants today, and some of you may be wondering what is going on today. So what we're doing today is tagged Make Nigeria Great Again. We had several essays being sent to us with different participants that are interested to defend their policies. They sent different essays to us on how they think they can make Nigeria great again. So positioning yourself or putting yourself as a president of Nigeria, what policies will you execute to make Nigeria great again? So we are able to pick 6 people from a list of essays that was sent to us, and these 6 people will be defending their policies today. That's awesome, right? I can't wait to see what they have to tell us. I can't wait to see our president today, okay? Good. So they will be defending those policies today, and please, let's encourage them. Let's stay with them. Just watch what they're going to say. We're going to learn a lot of things from them today. So the panel comprises 2 people, and these 2 people, we're going to see them very soon. So the panel will judge them, the panel will grade them, and the panel is going to give us the result of 3 people that will qualify for the final. So today, at the end of today's show, we'll be picking 3 people, which we're going to be announcing their winners in subsequent days. So at this point, let's welcome our first member of the panel, and that is Engineer Kalu Ouka from Germany. Hey, Engineer Kalu.
Hi.
Thank you so much, Engineer Kalu.
Good afternoon. Good evening from here.
Nice. Engineer Kalu is joining us from Germany. So he's going to be one of the panel today to judge our contestants. And joining him today, we have Engineer Emeka. He's from Finland. Please, let's welcome Engineer Emeka. He is joining us from Finland. Engineer Emeka, say hi to us.
Hello everyone. Hi.
Thank you so much.
My name is Nemeka Izanovi.
Thank you so much. So these are the 2 panel members that will be judging our contestants today. So each of them, and I will be the moderator, so I will just organize it and bring us in and take us out as the case may be. So now, this round, as I said, we're going to have 6 people in this round. Out of these 6 people today, we're picking 3 people that will move to the finals. So please listen to them as they present their policies. So in no particular order, we'll call them to present their policies. There's no particular order. So I think Rita has joined us. Okay, Rita is here. I can see Rita is here now. Favor, I don't know if Favor is here, but so far for what I'm having on the request, I'm having Juliana, I'm having Favor, and I'm not having Favor, so Favor is the only one missing, but we're going to start with other people before that. So, our first contestant that will be presenting her policy is going to be Shekina.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, Shekina, for joining us.
Thank
the forum
you
will be listening to you soon. We're going to leave the floor for you to present your policies, and you have 5 minutes to present your policies to the panel. Please be time conscious, so it is very important. So we're going to leave the floor for you.
So there's an adage that states that the greatness of a community depends accurately on the measures of its members. And the members are the leaders are the members. And I stand before you today that the greatness of a country determines the strength of its leaders. But before I continue, I would love to give respect to whom it is due to. Good day, Mr. Chairman, the panel of judges, the accurate timekeeper, the distinguished viewers, and my co-debaters. My name is Shekina Oruchi, and I stand before you all today to prove that my policies are the best in making Nigeria great again and giving it the ability to compete with other developed countries. So first of all, my first policy is aimed at tackling poverty, because poverty is one of the major problems that we face in Nigeria today. So during my term as president, I would introduce a universal basic income program, which is the UBI, aimed at giving guaranteed monthly salaries to adults from the ages of 18 and above, irrespective of their employment status. Because nowadays, Nigerians can hardly provide for food, education, and every other thing. And that's one of the reasons why Nigerians are always depressed and most times commit suicide. And that's why we have cases like kidnap, robbery, and poverty. This is because people cannot provide for simple amenities. So we'll aim at, so during my term as president, we'll aim at giving young people or adults from ages of 18 and above monthly guaranteed salaries. And I know you'll be asking, how am I going to be able to fund all of these things? But we're going to be able to fund them by a combination of taxes, government subsidies, partnership with private entities and everything. And there's this law I'm going to make when I become president, that after every 6 months, every bank in Nigeria, or every person or every individual or any group of people that own a bank in Nigeria would give out 1 billion naira towards the universal basic income program, so that it can keep running during my stay as president. So my second policy is to make education free at the tertiary level. So I did my research and I noticed that young people drop out during the tertiary level because of how high it is to pay for school fees at the universities and every other thing. And sometimes we have young people traveling outside the country because they feel that the education system at the tertiary level is not strong enough for them to achieve their dreams and every single thing. So I'm going to be giving free education at the tertiary level, and we're going to introduce more technology to enhance or to introduce more research at the tertiary level, and we'll also introduce internships. So we have young people from Nigeria traveling outside the country to learn about things, and just also so that they can gain more strength and skills in their field. Third policy I'm going to make is to introduce the Global Economic Partnership Summit, that is the GEPS, where I'll gather big CEOs or big founders of companies from around the world. So we're going to have this annual summit where we'll discuss about increasing or developing Nigeria's economic sector. Because one of the problems that we hear day by day, and one of the problems in Nigeria, is the economic sector, the economic instability. The economic system is so low, and we're literally the second poorest country in the world. So during my during my term as president of Nigeria, I will make strong connections with leaders and CEOs and business owners around the world, where we can come together and discuss about how we can make the Nigerian economic system grow. And we're also going to empower young people so that they can also start up their own businesses, so we can build infrastructure, so we can make Nigeria a place for greatness and every single thing. So the fourth thing I'm going to do as president is to make healthcare service free. So so day by day, and even in my area, and even places in Kaduna, places in Kano, you see people who are disabled around the streets begging for food, begging for money so that they can treat themselves. And most people die because they cannot afford the healthcare service. So during my time as president, and my team as president, I should have said this at the beginning. So my team has, or my goal as president is to work for the people and not for the government, because during my time as president, I am going to work for the people and not for the government. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that the masses have everything they need to live a comfortable life in Nigeria. So the healthcare service is going to be free. I'm going to partner with private entities, and also to be able to fund this program, or to be able to fund this, I'm also going to be getting money from banks, because in order for them to keep their business running in Nigeria, they also have to contribute to Nigeria's progress. So the third thing, the fifth thing I'm going to do as in Nigeria is to use more of CCTV and drone surveillance to tackle insecurity. And we'll also build this app called the Endit app. So the Endit app will be centered around stopping insecurity, kidnaps, and everything. So in our world today, or in Nigeria today, people hardly go outside because of the fear of being kidnapped and robbed and everything. And day by day, we hear stories of people being kidnapped, people being killed. But how long are we going to talk about these things? And even myself and even my family, like, before we go out, we have to pray. We have to make sure we call each other to keep in touch with each other so that we know that we are safe. So during my time as president, I'm going to encourage more of AIs, and we're going to use our AIs for important things. So sir, please, can you tell me when my time is up so I don't keep talking? Okay.
Your time has been up, so just wrap up.
Okay.
Just
So
30 seconds.
so we're going to create this app called the Endit app, where Nigerians, when you install this app, there's going to be an iOS button. So there's going to be a distress button. So when they are in danger and when they tap on that button, we're going to send their locations to security agencies so that they can track them. And also where we can track where this Boko Haram, where these kidnappers are, so that we can just erase them from Nigeria and make Nigeria a safe place. Thank you so much for your time, and my fingers are crossed.
Thank you so very much for the awesome presentation. So I really want to give the floor to the panel if they have anything to say.
Yeah, once again, you did nice. You did very well. Was a beautiful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
You didn't really time. Time was actually 5 minutes, but you exceeded it. But that's not so important now, the time. You mentioned so many wonderful points. These were very big. But Nigeria is a mixed economy kind of system. Capitalist than any other one that would practice, but majorly capitalist economy. How do you intend to fund most of this project of a country of about 200 million people? First of all, you said you would transfer money to people from 18 years of above, and
Okay.
according to your article, you said this money will take care of food, rent, and some other things.
Okay.
Because that's, I don't think Nigerian budget can even accommodate. If you take a small look at the school feeding program that we do today, as much as we have corruption attached to it, this is a huge chunk of the budget that is going to just school feeding program, and we're talking about a small fraction of human beings that we're trying. Then you also went ahead to say we'll provide free medical care for everybody. This is also a very huge one, because even in advanced country where they practice socialism, the government takes care of most of the responsibilities. They don't have free medical care, but because people have to pay a certain amount of money. I think one beautiful thing I noticed you said was this using technology to fight insecurity. So I'll give you the floor to see how you intend to raise such level of fund, because I don't know, from my small calculation, this is massive amount of money we're talking about.
It is.
I don't know how you intend to do it, because Nigeria is not a kind of monarchy. It's not also a dictatorship. We're talking about money that has to go through the legislation or the House of Assembly.
Yeah.
How do you intend to unify the country to reach such amount of trillions actually to carry out this program?
Okay, thank you so much for your questions, and I definitely have answers to them. Okay, so as I was giving out my presentation, I made mention of I said that every 6 months, every individual, every group of people that own a bank in Nigeria would deposit 1 billion naira in order to keep the universal basic income running, and in order for us to fund for all of these things. I know that this might sound impossible, but I mean, there is money in Nigeria. I've done my research, and to be very honest, there is money in Nigeria. I mean, the money that is going to the wardrobe allowance and feeding allowance of politicians, we can use this money to impact in the lives of people. So, and I also made mention that I was going to create really a strong relationship with international bodies, like with different countries or with developed countries. I mean, one thing as president is to communicate, to connect. So, in order for you to make your country great. So, okay, and so not just so I don't get all over the place. So I said I was going to, like, every 6 months, every bank in Nigeria would deposit the sum of 1 billion naira to keep the program rolling. And I also said that we're going to reduce all of this money that is going to government wardrobe allowance, their feeding allowance, their security allowance, because like every single day we see the government or we see politicians changing cars, changing houses, getting private jets from different countries, and our country is suffering. Our poor people are dying every day, and all of these things. So all of these things will end because in my own time as president, I'm going to be working for the masses and not for the government. So, okay, you also made mention, sorry, please, what was your second question? I can't remember. I was trying to
I think
get everything
I
down.
actually thrown more light on most of the things that I asked. So if my colleague has something else to ask, probably it will be better if he asks you something else. But on my
Okay.
side, to raise this for me.
Okay, then. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Shakina. I think
Thank
from
you.
my own part, I'll try as much as possible not to ask you any questions, but I'll just make comments on what you have pretty much said. Giancarlo has expressed quite a number of things, especially when it comes to wanting to move Nigeria from a capitalist economy to a socialist economy. 1 billion naira 1 billion naira every 6 months from the commercial banks in Nigeria is 22 billion naira approximately. When you divide that
Yeah.
by approximately 200 million people, or say if we have 60% of people, or if I'm right, anyways, say 50% of persons who are above 18, then we would see that I would commend the points: free education and technology, foreign direct investment and partnerships, improved security, and national healthcare. For the healthcare sector, I would want to think that that you should go in the direction of probably subsidized healthcare rather and available and subsidized healthcare rather than free healthcare. Then we can always debate this. We can always debate this, but if we're looking at plausible solutions for Nigeria, at least in the time being. Then also, it was good that during your debate you did not mention about cutting cost of governance, but it was good you clarified this after Carlo asked that it was important to cut cost of governance. I kind of still have much to say, but I think I'll stop here, please.
All right. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate the fact that we're able to get this part done. Shekina, we appreciate you for that. And we'll be moving on to the next person. So now we'll be going to the next person, Giovanni. Welcome, Giovanni. We have Giovanni up here, and Giovanni is ready to present to us his policy as President of Nigeria. The floor is yours, Giovanni.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I want to say a very big welcome to Engineer Mika and Engineer Carlo from wherever country you are coming from. I want to say a very big thank you to you all and to the moderator himself. If I'm being given the president of the country, I would make sure Nigeria is one of the best companies, or I will put Nigeria in a state or position where she can become a competitive player in this global and advanced economy by implementing infrastructure and technology development. Nigeria's infrastructural deficit is becoming a significant constraint to our growth and technology in the country. As the president, I would invest more in infrastructure and technology. Looking at our transportation system, we have 4 modes of transportation, yet only 2 are very rampant or common. As the president, I would make sure all 4 are being upgraded or constructed to the maximum standard, thereby allowing our citizens have faster and safer way to travel. I would also invest in renewable and non-renewable energies, such as the solar, the wind, and the hydro, to help regulate 24 hours power supply in the country. Looking at our connectivity also, I would make sure the connectivity in Nigeria is being upgraded to the maximum standard so that our Gen Zs who are upcoming can also access faster way to the internet. Secondly, diversification and industrialization. Nigeria solely depends on oil exportation, which is called the black gold. Although we have other agricultural products which we can also export. Now, our over-reliance on oil exportation is becoming a significant hindrance to our growth and development. As the president, I'll put an end to that era, and then a new era begins. An era whereby we can both export oil and our agricultural products such as cocoa, timber, wool, granite, and many others, thereby bringing employment for farmers and reducing the high rate of inflation and cost of commodity in our nation, Nigeria. Thirdly, education and skills acquisition. Education, they say, is the key to a brighter future. And then our leaders are our leaders. How then can we have good leaders if our educational system is not very upgraded? As the president, I would put more time into upgrading educational system, focusing it on the STEM operation. Also, I would make sure I reduce the high tag of school fees in Nigeria a little bit, and also plan in some states free education so that all our students or our citizens and individuals can access faster education, and they will gain the basic knowledge that they need to improve Nigeria in the future. Lastly, I would also launch a skills acquisition program targeting youth and women, thereby bringing employment into our nation so that we can all reduce the high rate of poverty in the country. Good governance and corruption is the last. Good government, they say, is the process by which the will of the state is being expressed and formulated. But in Nigeria, the will of the state is not actually being expressed and formulated. People always call, if you listen to the radio every day, they talk about how they can make Nigeria better. As the president, I will make sure the will of the state is being formulated and expressed by allowing them to enjoy the full function of government in the country, which are providing social amenities, also ensuring law and defense, ensuring law and order rather in the country, and also making sure there's defense and security to help reduce corruption. Corruption is one thing that can reduce the growth and development of a country. So I will strengthen the judiciaries and other anti-corruption agencies to help fight against crime, fraudulence, theft in the nation, thereby giving us a peaceful society to live in. Lastly, Nigeria cannot develop in isolation. Therefore, I would encourage other regional ties such as ECOWAS and the AU agenda to help encourage Nigeria in diaspora so that we can all go out there and Nigeria would be a competitive player in this global and advanced economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Giovanni. Awesome. That's awesome. I want to give the floor to the panel. Please go ahead, panel.
Permit me to start. Yeah, just a couple of things I would have preferred. I understand that we have radio essays, but I also know that a couple of your colleagues have not read your essays. So you mentioned things like we have 4 modes of transportation in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I may also think that there are only 3 or 2, as the case may be. So I think it's also important that we express that clearly. And then you said you talked about education and you just mentioned STEM. I could also assume that you're referring to STEM as STEM for a tree.
Yeah.
But I also understand that you refer to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Is that what it means? I guess.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I'm. Yeah, but I guess so. How do you pretty much, when it comes to diversification, why do you feel like? Because I guess you mentioned agriculture, right?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like agriculture is the next best way for us to diversify?
Well, I would say because in our country, Nigeria, the cost of commodity is very high, and I believe that's as a result of not having enough equipment. Also, if farmers are able to export their product outside, that will bring employment for them, and also it will reduce the cost of commodity in our country. Thereby, all our citizens here can go to the market and buy stuff in low prices rather than the thing increasing every single day. So for me, if oil is exported alongside with all these agricultural products, Nigerians' commodity in the market would reduce. Therefore, making sure that poverty level is low in Nigeria.
Well, yeah, I've heard what you said, and that's quite nice. So I agree with you because everybody needs to eat. We need to think about that October 1st before we can actually make things better. But yeah, that aside, I would give the floor now to Carlos so that I don't take up so much time.
Hi, Giovanni.
Hi, Engineer Carl.
How are you today?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much. And you?
Point. You were right on time, and your point you were also quite concise. For me, I wouldn't have so much question to ask. I would just like to throw more light to what you said. Probably, yeah, I get the concept, but probably the application or the way you structure the concept was so clear. Yeah, you made very interesting point about diversification using through agriculture. This is very valid. This is very valid, I must say, because I think the points that you should try to make, or the point trying to make, is a country without food security as a country. And unfortunately, in Nigeria today, we don't have that. Yeah, we have so many other crises plaguing us in Nigeria, from the herdsmen, from the inability of farmers to apply technology to farm and every other thing. So first of all, as it stands now, we are in a very dire situation in Nigeria because we can hardly feed ourselves. Most of our major food comes from outside the country, like rice, which is the major food we consume. And people who are even having the most local food that we consume, they can unfortunately not do that anymore because of the crisis. So yeah, you made a very good point that it's not like you are going to give oil, because so many countries, they have oil, but they also have strong agriculture, which is putting more attention on agriculture. I think the point you're trying to make is that without food security, then there cannot be economic survival. There cannot be economic stability, because a country who depends on other countries to feed her is at a very big risk, running into the kind of right now in Nigeria. Other things you said, them applying education, yeah, the major thing. So I think this goes more on the structure of our educational system and the curriculum and what we actually teach in school. So yeah, you threw some very good things. Governance, proving government through judiciary, through EFCC, through other things are wonderful. And a country cannot alone. I must agree with you that just like you have advanced countries, America pays so much money to countries like Mexico and other countries around it to develop, because if those countries don't develop, then a rich man can stand on his own in a community. You would say, and you promote other ECOWAS countries and AU countries. Wonderful point. You also look at it in that direction. Wonderful point. Without regional development, then a standalone development cannot work. What's happening in Israel? Israel is an advanced country, but every other country around Israel is having crisis. For that, Israel will automatically have crisis. So that is how it is. In Europe, for instance, Germany is one of them, but every other countries around is just fine. So there's no crisis. So everybody will become on its own. So in order not to take much of your time, it's good, and hopefully they will be able to advance to the next stage in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Giovanni. I appreciate that. Next person is going to be Rita. Thank you so much, Rita. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the fact that you were able to meet up, because we're looking around for you. We finally got you. All right, so you're in front of the panel. You have 5 minutes to show us, or kind of like to convince us about the policy you think you have that will make Nigeria great again. Take the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, my judges, my honorable judges. Ladies and gentlemen, and my honorable judges, today I stand before you to present a comprehensive policy framework that can catapult Nigeria into a league of developed nations. As it stands today, Nigeria stands as a crossroads, faced with the daunting task of bridging the gap between the underdevelopment. Today, I'm presenting three policies. Number one is human capital development. As the president of Nigeria, I'm going to focus on the people, because it's the people that is going to develop our country for us. I'll make sure that the people of Nigeria have quality education. They have the skill it takes. They'll have quality education from their primary school to the tertiary institution. Because when they have the skill, we'll take more of, when every human being have what they are doing. Let's I can make chair, and my neighbor can make bread. We'll develop things in our country in a way that we are going to export more will export to other countries instead of importing goods to our country, to other countries. It's going to help develop our country more because we are going to make things that will make our country great and better. When I say human capital development, Nigeria's greatest asset is its people. Investment in education, healthcare, and skills training have been woefully inadequate because of the past presidents. So to address this, I'm going to be increasing education funding to 20% of the national budget with a focus on STEM education and vocational training. Implementing a national healthcare plan that guarantees access to quality health for all citizens of Nigeria. Launching a comprehensive skill training program to equip Nigerians with in-demand skills for the modern economy. So when I mean I'll focus on the people, I'll make sure that every citizen of Nigeria has their right is being protected. Their right will be protected. And also I'll make sure that every citizen will understand that everything they does has a consequence. If you are lazy, there is a consequences. If you are hardworking, there is a consequences. So when everybody puts hand and learn a skill that they'll be able to produce things that will make us export more than importing goods to our country. Also, my second one is institutional reform. Institutions have been hindered Nigerian process, enabling corruption and inefficiency to thrive. To address this, I propose strengthening anti-corruption agencies and ensuring their independence. Number two is implementing a transparent and accountability public programming system. And third is reforming the civil service to promote meritocracy and efficiency. And the fourth one is establishing an independent judiciary to ensure the rule of law. And my third one is economic diversification. Nigeria's over-reliance on oil exports has stripped growth and made the economy vulnerable to external shocks. To address this, I recommend a strategic shift towards non-oil sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and renewable energy. By doing this, Nigeria will reduce its dependency on oil, increasing GDP and create jobs for its teeming youth. When I mean manufacturing, it's encouraging industries like textile, food processing, and others. So when we put more in manufacturing, we are going to produce more things in our country that will help us export goods instead of importing goods. So when we develop our country, it's going to help us create more things in our country. We'll create more things, create more chairs, develop things in our country instead of importing goods. It's going to help our country develop more. So as the president of Nigeria, I'm going to present manufacturing, and there will be technology in the country, fostering innovation, software development, and also when I mean renewable energy, there will be investing in solar, wind, and hydros. By reforming institutions, in conclusion, these three policies are giving I'm sorry, sir. I'm not really feeling good, so that's why.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Um,
It's fine. Yeah. You still want to continue? You still have some energy to continue, or you want us to move from here? You okay?
Yeah.
It's 5 minutes already.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes. Yeah, so it's over. Your time is up already. Okay. I appreciate the fact that you were able to present to us, and I leave the floor to the panel to take on from there.
Just a question. First of all, you did well. You're a little bit nervous, which is normal. For some people, they are nervous when this is very, very normal. But it's okay. Heard your point. But just question: Were you the one that wrote the article?
Yes, sir.
You're sure? Because what you said is completely almost different from what you were explaining to us right now.
Yeah. I asked the moderator if we can present other policies. He told me yes, sir, we can.
From my understanding and from what you have in your article, it's a very wonderful article. You understand? It's a very nice point. One of the best I saw. So I don't know what made you now decide to go out of your article. Like, even if you had just put the article in front, but
Can I be called up again so that I can present that one?
No, it's okay. All the same, you did a very good job. You understand? You did a very, very wonderful job. Hopefully you will scale through the next session, hopefully. So that's all for me.
I would say that I want to speak in general, I believe everyone has very good things to say. But part of the questions I want to ask Rita is, were you reading from somewhere?
I read some, but some I said it with my head.
Okay. All right. Because it's also part of when you prepare for this kind of discussions, if you're reading, you can also show that you're trying to read from somewhere or something. It helps you either like build the confidence, because if you are sort of reading from somewhere, right? If you're reading from somewhere, it sort of distorts how you want to flow, or how your information flow goes. But generally, what you spoke about, human capital development, quality healthcare, I think something that a number of persons have slightly touched, but you kind of touched it really good, was accountability. So yes, I think this is something that a lot of us Nigerians do not have, being accountable and understanding that there are consequences for lack of accountability. So in that sense, kudos to that. Anyways, I would stop here so that every other person can continue to speak. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rita. We appreciate the fact that you had the time to present to us, and just like the panel has mentioned, you did well, and they had some point that it picked from what you said, and we really want to give you kudos for what you did. We like the courage you had, despite the fact that you were nervous, but we really, really like the fact that you came in this point. It's not easy. We have a lot of applications or a lot of essays that were sent to us, but you were among the 6 people that made it to this stage. That means you really did great. Okay, so we really want to really thank you, and kudos for the job well done so far. Okay, thank you so much. We'll move on to the next person, and once again, we appreciate you. Thank you, Rita. All right, so now we're moving to the next person, Jackson.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Jackson. So we really want to appreciate the fact that you're here today. So we thank you. We are getting the floor open and for you to take on. You have 5 minutes to present to us the policies you think you can execute to make Nigeria great again. Take the floor.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jackson Tepajon from Benue State, Makurdi, a student of University of Joseph Sanwo Taka University. 300 level of electrical electronics engineering. Now, as a president of Nigeria, like given a chance to be the president of Nigeria, I will first have a vision and a mission. Now, I will first have to study the history of the country. What has been its weakness? What has been the strength of the country? We have a vision. So I hope you can hear me. And you have a vision and a mission. Now, I will have to study. To be a president of Nigeria or a country is not an easy task. So that means I have developed the experience, the capacity to be a leader. I have read books on leadership. I have undergone series of training. And due to my feasibility study of the country, especially a country as Nigeria, which is a developing country, I will have to make strategic policies that will bring the country, as the topic said, to a point of competing. Because easily for Nigeria to go and be competing with the Europeans, it's not an easy task, it's not a one-day job. But by consistent evaluating and making of policy that will enhance the country's effectiveness, then that will be achievable. Now, my vision first will be Nigeria, a beacon of hope and prosperity in Africa, where every citizen has access to quality education, healthcare, and economic opportunities, living in harmony with economic opportunities and environmental competing globally. My mission statement will be to transform Nigeria into a diversified inclusion and sustainable economy driven by innovation, entrepreneurship, good governance, ensuring improved quality of life for all citizens, strong and global presence. Now, when you talk about developed country, what does it mean for a country to be developed? Now, let's look the criteria for a country to be developed. Number 1, high income levels. That's the gross domestic product. We have the diversified economy. That's number 1 for a country to be a developed country. That's high income levels. Number 2, the country must have high human index. That is high life expectancy, high education, and high standard of living. Number 3, advanced infrastructure. Number 4, political stability. That the rule of law must be standard. It's not the rule. It's not the people controlling the rule, but the rule controlling the people. Then number 5, high level of industrialization and technology. Number 6, low level of poverty and economic inequality. Number 7, high environmental standard. Number 8, financial market and institution. Number 9, social welfare protection. Now, my policies are policy section 1, economic diversification. Number 1, I will reduce the dependency on fuel. How do I do this? How do I plan to do this? I will focus on other sectors like agriculture. Increase funding in the agriculture. If you come to my state, Benue State is the largest producer of yam in the whole Africa and in the world. Then that is opportunity for the country as a leader or as a president to diversify that sector and make advantage of. We have most of arable lands in Nigeria. That is a way to take to harness that particular natural resources and then put taxes on imported goods so that we can now produce our own product here and be patriotic to it. I will make strict laws on that. Number 2, improve infrastructure. If you check the statistics, Nigeria, when it comes to development, Nigeria has the poorest infrastructure, and that is what has been killing us from all sectors and all around. Now, I will enforce the high energy sector. I will make high energy sector reform. I will make good transport system. That's invest in the transport system. Then I will also invest in digital infrastructure, energy, transport, and digital. Number 3 of my section 3, that number 3 of my policy will be the patriotic. They see a vision that a nation that is well learned is a nation that can have prosperity, that can be bold, that can do things. Also, I will promote technical and vocational education. Then another thing, I will cope brain drain. Brain drain is another thing. There's no way as a president of a country I will not do our best in this field. Then I will allow you to go out.
Jackson, yeah. At what point do you intend to finish? Because you're already almost running 15 minutes here. Or 30 minutes, as my time says. Yeah, so Jackson, you have some seconds, let's say 30 seconds to wrap up, okay?
Okay, finally, I will invest in good governance and political stability. That is, I will fight corruption, I will strengthen the democratic institution, and...
Okay, I think the network is not doing you guys much favor. All right, Jackson. Okay, Jackson, we're bringing you back again so they can, the moderator, so the panel can ask you some questions. Okay. Jackson has network issues, but he can also still hear the comments. Okay. You understand? So probably he's still online. Jackson, you did very well. You spoke a lot, in as much as some of the things you said were completely different from what you wrote in your article. In your article here that I have. Like in your article, you said some wonderful things about offering tax breaks and low interest rates to businesses and all that, creating one shop for the. But in your explanation, it's like you now went before being a president. Because right now, the question from my understanding is, what are you going to do if you were the president of Nigeria? So in your explanation, you now went before being a president, started talking about attending leadership schools. Yeah, this is actually before being a president. You've already prepared yourself. Wonderful points you made. You talked about so many things actually, and some things were not so clear. I think your article, my honest opinion is that the article made more your article made more logic than what you actually explain. If you had just stick to your article, even if you are reading it from somewhere, no problem. I think it would have made more clarity than what you were saying. I think even you had your article to guide you when you were talking. You actually know how to channel this energy you use today to talk about so many other things that were not even listed or mentioned in your article. All the same, your work was nice, and I appreciate your time. Thank you. Engineer Emeka, do you have anything to say?
Well, I guess I pretty much need to speak since I have been speaking based on others. Carlo has pretty much taken most things off my mouth. I wouldn't talk about the debate or the discussion right now, but there's something I want to point out from your essays. Which is the point when it comes to healthcare revitalization, and where you say talk about public-private partnerships. I think permit me. I think I would be picking up key things or unique things because as we all know how to make Nigeria better, right? But I'll just speak about unique things that people will have brought in here. Public-private partnerships. I think it's very crucial, not only in the health sector, but also in even in the educational sector. You have you can have pretty much an educational sector where research and development centers are set up by private sectors, such that people or university students can actually use these R&D centers to do research for the university. This is more like a private-public partnership, or where people can easily move from university to intern at private institutions. I know we have IT and the rest of them, but a more structured partnership also would help in building the human capital development. I think what's important here is basically the synergy between all these points that have been mentioned today. Anyways, I think that will be all from me for now.
Thank you so much, panel, and also thank you, Jackson. Welcome, Juliana. We really want to thank you for joining us. So you have 5 minutes to present to the panel policy you need to execute if you are the president or when you become the president of Nigeria. Take the floor.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. My co-debaters. My name is Omotosho Juliana. I stand before you to prove to that my policies are the best in order to make Nigeria great again. As a president of Nigeria, my vision is to transform our nation into a global powerhouse to compete with other developed countries. There are some policies which I would like to implement. Firstly, education. Like the saying, they said education is the best policy, is the best legacy. Sorry. As a president of Nigeria, I will make sure education, people have access to free education, regardless of their background. I'll make sure everyone has good and quality education. Because as it is now in our nation, I believe it is only the rich people that can be able to, that can afford to send their children to school. So as a president, I will make sure that people have free access to education. And another thing is economy. I notice that in Nigeria these days, we really depend on oil exportation. Yes, but we need to diversify into another things like technology and manufacturing, because most of the things being produced in Nigeria now are produced by China. It's hardly for us to see something being produced by our own, made in Nigeria. Majority of the things we are using in our nation now are being produced by another country. Same also goes to agriculture. We hardly eat food being produced by our nation. Basically, most especially this food, general food we are eating, which is rice. Other countries supplies us rice. Not that we are not making rice in our country, but we prefer to export it to another country. So I'll make sure we diversify into another thing, not depending on oil. There are some other things we can do, like manufacturing, technology. Yes, we can also invest in tech business, in technology. And another thing is our governance. Yes. And we also implement policy on our governance, that is transparency and accountability. By this, we can fight against corruption. If our government can be transparent enough with us in our nation, and they can give account of whatsoever they are doing, whatsoever money that is coming in and going out of our country, I believe we can have a good country. That is, Nigeria can be great again. And another policy is health. Yes. As a president of Nigeria, I will make sure that Nigeria can partnership with the Global Health Organization. Yes. They are ready to assist. If only we can partner with them. We should be able to partner with them. We should be able to collaborate with the Global Health Organization. And another thing I would like to implement is infrastructure. Yes, infrastructure. We need, as a president of Nigeria, I will make sure I implement modern infrastructure to the country, like road infrastructure, the rail and the air infrastructure. The ones we are using, always maintaining. So I would like to implement a new and good modern infrastructure to our country. In conclusion, by implementing these policies which I have listed, I believe Nigeria can be prosperous and Nigeria can be great again. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Juliana.
Juliana, hello once again.
Hello, sir.
You did wonderfully well.
Thank
you
you, sir.
time, a minute less, but it's okay. It's very nice. Your points were also very nice, and
Okay, sir.
tell you that your article is also very good. Did you write the article on your own, or did you use AI to write the article?
I wrote it, sir.
Your article is very good, elaborated a lot of points. I'm quite impressed. Now, why do you think
Thank you, sir.
China is stealing most of our manufacturing jobs? Just a question.
I can't hear you, sir. The network.
Why do you think China is stealing most of our manufacturing jobs?
Hello, sir.
Why do you think China
Network.
is
Okay.
manufacturing jobs? For instance,
Why do I think
most of our manufacturing jobs are not done in Nigeria? Why do you?
it is what? Okay, it is what I can see, sir. Mostly around where I'm living, all those companies are being established by China. I can say it, sir. Though it is we Nigerians that are working with them, but it is being established by China people. And majority of things being produced, we are only using it for our own consumption, but it is being made by China.
Okay. Yeah, I think like when you were explaining your point, the thing you actually said was that most of our goods we get them from outside the country.
Yes, sir.
It's just a contribution. It's not like I'm questioning you also. It's just a contribution. The only reason
Okay,
that
sir.
we import most of our goods there is because most times maybe it's not economically viable to produce here. Probably,
Okay.
if you don't have power, there is no way you can actually produce at a cheap rate. If you don't also
Okay.
have policies, wonderful policies that will remove the bottleneck of production, then there is no way you can also produce at a viable rate. So that's why you see most things coming from the other side of the world, Nigeria. So it's usually cheaper to produce and send to Nigeria than actually to produce in Nigeria. Why? Most companies that produce in Nigeria, they need diesel to produce. You can see not just that we don't have constant supply, we don't also have constant price. So the price also plays a role in all. And then government regulations, so to say, we have series upon. And then in Nigeria, we have something that is called multiple taxation that exists in some companies. Taxation from the local government, state government, federal government, plus
Yes.
undocumented taxations that occurs, maybe from boys around, from the community that's around and all. So these things are actually impediments to production that make companies to see it as a very big obstacle to they prefer probably to go to China where they just produce with a very cheap power because you cannot drive an economy without power supply. It doesn't work. Power supply is just like your petrol you have. You cannot drive an economy without these two things. So if you lack these two things, you don't have cheap power supply, then there is no way you can have cheap production. So it's just the direct relation. So all the same, coming back to our discussion, you did well. Opinion.
Thank you, sir.
Hopefully you may qualify to the next round if the panel of judges find good in your points that you make. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Having some issue with the second panel. The internet kind of like, so I think I'm having some some Instagram issues. And the order of our panel member who is going to compile the results and then get it across to us. But still, we'll be moving to the next phase, and the next phase may just be us. Okay, so the five of you have presented your policies. Now the panel is going to go through your policies, what you presented, together with the article you presented. Then they're going to grade them up, and then we're going to publish the results anytime soon. So thank you so much, Engineer Kalu, for joining us. We'll be expecting to hear our grade or the results from you guys soon. So let's get Engineer Emeka with us. But meanwhile, we appreciate you, Engineer Kalu. We really want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Bye.